Who knew? Who could possibly have known in the very beginning where those first tentative steps would lead? When it all began, Fame was a movie and a television show, and it was a fledgling program in Muskegon, Michigan, that proposed to train the attention span on excellence. It was an experiment for celebrating potential, for providing youthful achievement the launching pad it deserves. Now, the television show is forgotten. The movie is a curiosity piece that shows up on late-night cable once or twice a year. But youthful talent in West Michigan is still taking flight, and the launching pad is busier than ever. It has blossomed into a full-scale tradition called Showcase that has opened our eyes to the success stories in our midst and enriched lives by the thousands. Who knew? Back in the early years, when hip-hop was in the incubator and disco was breathing its last dying gasp, who had an inkling of just how far we'd travel? Actually, the clues were there, for those who cared to look. From the very beginning, there were sonic booms and flashes of light that gave hints of the human harvest in West Michigan. From the very beginning, there were young performers who simply took our breath away. There were singers who stunned us with their talent. There were actors and dancers who teased us with their potential. There were athletes and scholars and artists and writers who forced us to wonder, how far can they go? Just how good can they become? Before there was such a thing as a showstopper award, there were people stopping the show. In spite of that, because of that, the show goes on. Of course, Showcase has always been more than just a glorified applause meter. It's also about what happens before the curtain goes up. It's butterflies in the stomach, it's lips bitten raw, and only in the dictionary does success come before work. Showcase is not just about some of the brightest stories in West Michigan, it's also about the price people pay in sweat and determination to write those stories. It's also about what happens when the theater empties and the floodlights go dark. Showcase is about our honorees' commitment to children. It's about their work in the community. Showcase is about what they give back. Typically, these things don't show up on stage, but sometimes it's what you don't see that defines and completes the vision. Now, we've traveled all this distance, from Fame to Showcase, from show starters to show stoppers, from a first generation to a second, to the beginning of a third. It's a journey that spans 25 years. The headlines are different. The world is transformed. Even the Frauenthal has undergone a facelift. And yet, look around. The landscape is encouragingly familiar. Showcase is still a kind of funhouse mirror. It's still a looking glass for people willing to see themselves not just as they have been, but as who they might become. On its 25th birthday, Showcase is still about vision. It's still about the tease of challenge and the surprises inherent there. It's still about possibility. Who knew?